The Syrian regime and its allies are solidifying their hold on parts of eastern Aleppo that they captured from opposition forces. Regime soldiers have been filmed celebrating their seizing of northern portions of the city. It's an area that amounts to over one-third of rebel-held territory there. It's the biggest loss by the opposition since 2012. Abubakr al Shamahi joins us now from Gaziantep near the Turkey-Syria border for more on this. Hi Abubakr, what does this mean for the wider Syrian opposition across the country?
Beginning with Aleppo itself, the rebels now have pulled back to what appears to be a more defensible line along a main highway in the southeast of the city, and they may choose to dig in there and fight, or they may choose eventually to pull out and withdraw, as has happened in other areas, formerly rebel-controlled areas across Syria. For example, on Monday, rebels in the Damascus suburb of Khan al-Sheikh decided to withdraw in an agreement with the regime and began to withdraw to other areas of Syria. Now, in terms of the wider picture, a member of the SNC, a senior member of the opposition SNC, George Sabra, did say on Monday that the Syrian revolution was not over and that the Free Syrian Army still do control large swathes of Syrian territory. But it has to be remembered that much of that territory lies in rural areas of Syria. The regime has firm control over many of the country's main population centres and is in a very good position. So this may be the beginning of the end game. But to say that the conflict is now over or coming to an end may be slightly premature on one hand, and on the other hand, even if the regime do emerge victorious, the question is, what kind of Syria will they actually inherit?
So rebels had seized the area in 2012, and now the loss of Aleppo, is it a setback?
It's definitely a setback. At the start of the Syrian protests and what became known as the Syrian Revolution, Aleppo was actually quite quiet, and much of the focus was on areas and main cities in the west of the country. So you're looking at Damascus, Homs and Hama, and it was actually believed that Aleppo wouldn't rise up, but eventually it did in 2012, and it was actually those cities in the west that actually went quiet first. However, Aleppo and the opposition forces there withstood. So this, and especially the taking of the area of Masak and Hanano on Saturday, the first area the rebels entered in 2012, is particularly symbolic. And in addition to that symbolism, Aleppo is a particularly strategic city. It's Syria's economic heartland. It's Syria's biggest city. This is a massive victory for the Assad regime, and it further adds to the feeling for the opposition that they've been abandoned by the international community, and in particular now with the new US president, or the incoming US president Donald Trump, that they'll be abandoned by the United States.
So we know that thousands had to flee the besieged district. How have civilians been affected so far?
Well, that's one of the main things that's often ignored in these things when you're looking at regime advances or even rebel advances, what happens to civilians. And according to the White Helmets, the civil defense group in Aleppo, over 500 have been killed in the past 2 weeks, just in the past 2 weeks. And even for those who've managed to flee, and thousands have now fled the areas where they're fighting is into government areas or into other rebel-held areas, many have told Amnesty that they now fear reprisals or even detention at the hands of the Assad regime. And considering the Assad regime's track record, even before the start of the protests in 2011, that might actually be justified. For the activists, many of the internet servers that many of the activists actually used are believed to be in the areas that were lost to the regime in the past few days. So they might now be cut off from the world. And in terms of fuel supplies for the White Helmets, that civil defense group, they're now saying that the only fuel they have left is that which remains in their vehicles.
Thanks for that, Abubakr al Shamahi, live from Gaziantep.